This is a John Tafelappen production movie. From September 11th to a shooting in Las Vegas, to a shooting in Connecticut, to Hurricane Irma, this is the 21st century.
He ruined America. Innocent firemen and people died for us. Who are still dying in Iraq today. And that is a reaction. Well, you know what?
On September 11th, 2001, 19 Islamic extremists were sent out to kill innocent Americans, with 4 planes that were hijacked. 2 of those planes were flown into the World Trade Center, aka the Twin Towers. One crashed in Pennsylvania, and the other crashed into the Pentagon. Their objective was to hit our finance, our military, and our government, so that we would be hopeless. The obvious target to blame for this was an Al-Qaeda Islamic extremist leader, OSAMA bin Laden. Conspiracy arose right away. Everybody was wondering if President Bush had done it. Everybody was wondering if jet fuel can melt steel beams. You've all heard of the old 9/11 911. Coincidence or not? You ask people to question what was happening that day, and they said it was a very normal day. People were going to work. It was a beautiful day out. People were hosting parties. Everything was going to happen on that day. But everything changed. People that were supposed to go to work that day, some of them stayed home for various reasons, not knowing that 9/11 would occur. I guess you could say lucky them, right? In January of 2002, a student pilot, 15 years old, crashes an airplane into a skyscraper in Tampa, Florida to try to mimic 9/11 4 months after the attacks in New York City. December 9th, 2002, United Airlines files for bankruptcy because they're $1 billion in debt. 2003 rolls around, Iraq invades. Heat waves kill tens of thousands in Europe. 2004, Facebook was invented. We all remember the hurricanes that year, which caused over $57 billion in repairs and killed over 3,000 people. There were 6 major hurricanes that year, and there were 9 hurricanes overall. Hurricane Ivan was at 165 miles per hour at its peak. It devastated the eastern United States, it devastated Jamaica, it devastated Yucatan. Those were the first hurricanes recorded in the South Atlantic. Surprise, the 1 gigabyte SD card was born. Wah, 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 wah. Last but not least, George Bush, our 43rd president, was re-elected. 2005 was the hot spot for a hurricane, Hurricane Katrina. We all remember it well. It hit New Orleans as a Category 5 at its peak. It was 175 miles per hour sustained winds. It caused $108 billion in damage. 1,836 people died, most of them being from Louisiana. A moment of silence. In 2006 rolls around and Saddam Hussein, Iraq's leader, was executed. He was guilty of his actions. Surprise! Pluto isn't a planet anymore. I'm sorry, I have to apologize for that. 2007, April 16th, a student at Virginia Tech goes on a killing spree, killing 30 individuals. What year is it now? Oh yeah, 2008. That was the sound of the stock market crashing. 2008 rolls around, November, and we have an election for our 44th president. It is John McCain versus Barack Obama. Yeah. 2009, we have this thing called the inauguration, yes, for President Obama, because he won the election, just in case you didn't know that. Yeah. October 2012, we had Hurricane Sandy, which hit the Jersey Shore and devastated hundreds of people and hundreds of homes. At its strongest, Hurricane Sandy was a Category 2, but it hit the Jersey Shore as a Category 1. It took a roller coaster from seaside heights into the ocean, just to show you how powerful this beast was. And it's moments like those where you realize how precious we really are, how much we have to be aware of our surroundings, because the one moment that you turn away, it becomes a total disaster. People were still near the beach, refusing to evacuate. That's the crazy thing about this ultimate phenomenon. Just to tell you something else, I had a friend who lived in Jersey. His trampoline flew over his fence, and the rain was sideways, so don't tell me Hurricane Sandy was just a breeze, because no, it wasn't. Chris Christie's saying was, if you think it's stupid, it is stupid. His point being, if they tell you to evacuate, you have to evacuate. His stupid phrase was for the people who did not evacuate. December 14th, 2012, at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut, a 20-year-old man shot 20 students between 6 and 7 years old, later shooting himself, making this a genocide. Oh, just to let you know, before he went to school, he also killed his mother. His name was Adam Lanza. So you guys heard of the Boston Massacre, right? And you've heard of the Boston Marathon. Well, they kind of co-intertwined in 2013. About 2:49 p.m. in the afternoon of April 15th in Boston, Massachusetts, 2 bombs went off yards apart near the finish line. 260 people were wounded, 3 spectators died, and 16 people lost their limbs. The youngest amputee was a 7-year-old girl. A first responder had went to save a guy who had lost both of his legs, and that guy ended up in the hospital, but the next day he was perfectly fine. He was having surgery. That same guy ended up telling the prosecutors and officers who was in any event, that same person had remembered that the bombs were next to him and had told who the people were who had planted the bombs, which is how they got caught. So in other words, if that guy wasn't alive because of the first responders saving him, we might have not known who planted the bombs, or it would have taken us a longer time to realize that. 2014, there was an Ebola outbreak in West Africa in which 6,000 people were killed out of the 17,000 people that were treated. Friday, November 13th, in Paris, 2015, 130 people were killed at a heavy metal concert planned by ISIS. The question that day lies, was Friday the 13th a conspiracy, or was it a coincidence? The end of 2016 pops out of the bag, and we have an election for a 45th president. It is Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton. The winner, drum roll please. Donald Trump. 2017 was the hot spot for hurricanes. There were several hurricanes that year, but few that stuck out, one being Hurricane Harvey.
Hurricane Harvey costed $180 billion in damage.
Killed 77 people and had a high winds of 134 miles per hour.
It lasted from August 17th, 2017 to September 3rd, 2017 and hit Texas and Louisiana. Hurricane Irma lasted for 16 days and its maximum sustained winds were at 185 miles per hour, making it a Category 5 hurricane. It devastated Turks and Caicos and the Virgin Islands. It also devastated Florida on the west coast. It costed $62.87 billion in damage. As soon as Hurricane Irma ended, Hurricane Maria started at 175 miles per hour sustained winds, and it hit Puerto Rico, Turks and Caicos, and all the Virgin Islands. Last but certainly not least, what is it about October 1st, 2017 that makes us all jump like a bunch of penguins? It's the fact that 59 were killed and 527 were injured. Specifically the Harvest Music Festival on Route 91 at Las Vegas on the 32nd floor of a hotel when a gunman shot fire during a concert, making this the most horrifying, detrimental, and most severe shooting in modern American history. All these major events in life teach us to be more aware of our surroundings. They teach us to, live life to the fullest because it could end like that. The most important people out there are the ones who sacrificed their lives so that we could have a better one. The paramedics, the police officers, the firefighters, the military personnel, the doctors, the nurses, and all the great people out there. Thank you for your service. Comment, like, subscribe below. I'm John Tafelappen, and I approve this message.